Hey there, welcome back to Sea Power and welcome to the Alicorn Submarine. This thing is straight out of Ace Combat 7. It is, well, not really a submarine, as it's supposedly classed as a submersible aviation cruiser. That's right, this cruiser, can launch aircraft. It's not only got that capability though. This thing is what I suppose the Germans would call a Wunderwaffe. A wonder weapon. It's got everything. Except maybe dealing with enemy submarines, but we'll get to that in a second. Just note how long this thing has been passing the screen. I'm running this on 1x speed, and the submarine is still passing the camera. Let's have a look at what this thing got. The Alicorn class. We have 168 RIM 116s. These are heat-seeking anti-aircraft missiles. Basically your last-ditch resort. However, before it comes to that, you got 240 Standard Missile 2. Extended range, 80 miles. Nice. Need something dead? Not a problem. We have 480 land attack missiles. We have 480 anti-ship missiles. We have 480 harpoons. Of course, also anti-ship missiles, but these guys got better range. Then we have something that's called the V3 and the V2. The V2 is a MIRV. The V3 is also a MIRV. They have a range of 1,000 to 5,000 miles and respectively 1,000 to 20,000. So allow me to show you what that looks like if you're looking at the map. For example, this thing says, hey, I can shoot about this far. Okay, fine. The harpoon, the tomahawk can say I can shoot about this far. And then you got the V3, which just says I have a minimum range and everything else is fair game. So this thing has a bit of firepower. To make matters even more interesting, it can also launch the SLUAV, or Submarine Launched Unmanned Aerial Vehicle. These things can be used for reconnaissance. So you don't have to give your own position away. Can I actually launch one of these?
We'll go.
We are aligning. Oh, here it comes. Subtle. Interestingly, we already got a connection lost, but there we go. Now it is linked to the Alicorn class. Okay, and supposedly these things are also controllable, which is interesting. Because that means that they basically got the... they got the perspective or the link that you would have to a wire-guided torpedo from the regular game. Now supposedly these things also have radar, but you gotta turn that on using the dev menu. So let's go to sensors. Sensor 1 is an ECM jammer. I'm not sure if this thing actually works as intended. But if it does, then you got even better capabilities. Here, we got radar, nothing. So you can start spotting things for yourself. That is, if your submersible aviation cruiser doesn't detect it all by itself. Because its sensors are something else. It has an advanced optics sensor, which is a visual sensor with decent night vision as well. Of course, if you're gonna rely upon visual to detect something with this monster, then something has gone quite horribly wrong. We also have a DMUX 900 hull-mounted sonar with a passive range of 70 kilometers. I still don't know why this is in kilometers and everything else is in miles. And a 150 kilometer active range. So the active sonar on this thing is better than passive. Which is kind of what things are normally in reverse. You got the DMUX-80TA towed array sonar. This is a bit more normal. And then we have an air and surface search radar out to 324 miles. Of course, that mostly is against air targets. Against surface targets, you are still limited by the horizon. ESM mast is capable of detecting things above water using ESM. And that's might conclude it for the sensors of the submersible itself, but we also carry a couple of different versions of the F1. We got a couple of different loadouts, and these two have an air and surface search sensor. So with those, you can just launch one And you can then get, well, you can basically dive again. Up until the point where you're going to have to retrieve your aircraft. How many do we carry? 10, 10, 10, and we got 2 helicopters of the S321 Alpha, which can be even loaded out with anti-ship missiles, which gives them exocets or ASW killers. And this is where I mentioned that ASW on this platform is not great, because this thing doesn't have any torpedoes, and this might have ASW killer, but it cannot drop sonobuoys. Then again, you could very much make the case, well, if this thing is actually capable of doing 150 miles active sonar, why not run it? Because that means anything and everything is going to get detected by active sonar immediately. Any submarine should not be able to sneak up on this thing. Now, weaponry, we also got 80 F-21... Oh, sorry, we do have torpedoes. We got anti-submarine torpedoes out to 30 miles, because of course we do. They are proximity fused. We have always armor penetration. There's also a 155mm rail gun out to 53 miles. And we have a couple of 30mm, and these are CUAs. So if you ever do come under attack by missiles, I'd say just dive. If that doesn't work, well, we still got some options. Now, let's surface this ship. And make sure that we can launch some aircraft. Oh, did I mention this thing travels north of 40 knots? This thing is not only capable of doing everything all by itself, it is also capable of diving extremely deeply. I think it went down to 1,660 feet. At which point I wonder if torpedoes are ever going to catch it. Because I'm not sure a torpedo in this game has a depth at which they get crushed. And at this point, I am not really sure if that's ever going to be a problem. Because, I mean, what's going to get into range of this thing? What is going to get into range of this thing? I do really like the model, though. Alright. Let's send out a couple of aircraft. Over here, I'm going to show you what the AI has. We have a Kirov. And the Kirov, of course, doesn't come alone. It comes with a Moskva, Savrameni, Urloy, Krivax. There's even a couple of submarines out there and some Tu-22s. So, I'm going to turn on the air search sensor and see if we can pick up the Tu-22s already. So, yeah, let's turn that on. Radar mast on. Yep, there's the air contacts. What happens if I turn this thing weapons free? Because it should start throwing... Huh. Interesting. Is that the railgun? Has to be. Yeah, that's the railgun. So the railguns are engaging, from my perspective, the ship itself, but they're just firing over the top of the hull. And they're engaging the incoming aircraft.
Engaging track 700.
Here's a launcher.
5. Birds away, track.
I imagine. Oh, there.
0,
Port side.
0, 5.
Let's just send a missile against each of these targets, please.
Engage track 700.
There's the hatch again.
3. Birds away, track 700.
Incredible.
4.
Can we launch aircraft at the same time? Let's go with a couple of F-10 air-to-airs. Sorry, F-1s. Air-to-air is magic times 2. This is a magic times 2. There. Let's see what that looks like. Because I am very interested in seeing how those things perform. And also, can we see them already? Yep. It looks a little wet on the hangar deck, but otherwise it's fine. Look at this. This is incredible. Killed something. Are you gonna take off through? Oh, never mind. Those are the catapults. These must be the 30mm defensive weapons. Amazing. For those interested, this thing displaces 810,000 tons. 810,000. I think a modern aircraft carrier is 100,000. So this thing is basically 8 aircraft carriers worth of displacement. She's a little big. There we go. Now, I think we knocked out those aircrafts, except for one. So at least you're going to have something to do, my friend. Engage at will. Didn't need that drop tank anyway. Other aircraft also going in. There's a Krivac detected. What are we going to throw against the Krivac? How about a salvo of Tomahawks? Where did the Tomahawks come from? Here. There we go. Wow. We can keep doing that for days. If somebody could make me a mission for this one, I'll gladly play it. Sheesh. For those MRFs, I do have an E3, and if I activate the search, I might be able to pick up the airfield that I placed down here, so that we'll be able to use the MRFs as well. Let's go find an airfield. Because the MRFs, at the moment, have a problem with minimum range. E3, keep detecting that. Look at that. Need you guys to go up for the 36. You're going to be my spotters, because I'm not 100% confident about this thing. It already lost contact, so I cannot control that submarine launched UAV anymore. So no idea how you're supposed to retrieve that. It doesn't exactly look like it'll land anywhere safely. Am I still pinging? Yeah, I am.
Secure active sonar. Sonar eye.
Oh, we got missiles coming in. Let's see how she does against that.
Hostile air. Contacts detected.
What's firing? Is that the... Yep, there's the 30 millimeters. That's a shipwreck. Originating from Kirov. Get it! Oh. Now, can we just crash dive? Because if we got missiles coming in, there's bound to be more. I'm not really in the mood to stick around and see if that will actually hit me or not. How is this thing going to... Oh, it ran for the chaff cloud. I was going to say, how is this going to react when the target has suddenly disappeared? But it probably just decides to go nowhere. Incoming missile. Yep, SSN-12s. We're picking them up on their emissions. Probably by... I think by the submarine itself. She is diving. Kind of. Ceasefire. Dive. 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 Nope, she refuses to dive at this point. Fine, we'll just shoot those missiles out of the sky. Oh, they went down. Okay. Float it. I doubt that this ship cannot dive because it is currently servicing aircraft. It's not actively shooting anything. Still can't get that. Not even with standard missiles. Do we know where that airbase is yet? Oh, come on. Show me the position of the airbase.
Contact faded. Track 7006.
Yeah,
Hostile
pretty much there.
air. Contacts detected.
Alright. Really? You're going for chaff again? Look at that, sea whiz.
Missile launch. Missile launch.
How are you so lucky that all the missiles go for the chaff? Do you have ECM? No, you don't. Even if you throw out a chaff cloud, wouldn't this thing generate much more of a radar return than a chaff cloud? It seems to be aligning with something or for something. I'm not sure why. Oh, let me turn on the... Targeting sensor is on. Oh crap, I missed this railgun. That's a railgun with 1800 mile range. Because of course it is. Can we shoot that?
Engage track 7006.
Oh! Oh my god. This is a category of, oh, but wait, there's more. Wow. That is one gorgeous model. Apparently, it is what I think you would call a spinal gun. It's attached to the length of the ship, so the whole ship has to turn around if you want to fire one of those things. In the meanwhile, let's go launch a couple of MIRVs.
Contact faded. Track 70.
Do we need to target for that, or no?
Confirmed.
Hatch is opening. That's one missile? Oh boy.
Confirmed.
Yep. It's like you're looking at a Soviet Typhoon class per side. Like, that's the wings. Incredible. I'm really surprised my airborne unit still hasn't picked up that Soviet airbase, but okay. We're still going to be aligning, I guess. No, we lost target. That's the problem.
Surface.
There.
Contacts detected. Multiple hostile surface.
Yeah, everything's not your friend.
Detected. Engage track 702.
Cancel.
Fire track. Engaging track 702.
Okay, open it again. The fact that it's part of the flight deck and that an aircraft can pass over that thing is amazing. Hatches are closing? We didn't send anything. Target's 200 miles out, and if we got 7,500 knots... It's 128 caliber. Oh, here we go. 600 millimeter railgun with a 76.5 meter barrel. Okay. Capable of engaging land and air targets? Is that a railgun, or are you just happy to see me? Oh, look at that.
Bulldog away. Track 7023.
Can we track that? Yes, we can. $100,000 feet. Speed just under, well, just over 8,000 knots. And of course, as my Tomahawks are only flying at 550, this thing just overtakes them like nothing.
Surface. Contact detected. Multiple hostile surface. Contacts detected.
Go on. Can I still change target? No. Can't do that. That would be overpowered. I mean, not like everything else is standard, but,
Contact detected.
you know. Oh, we're speeding up again. We were 11,000 knots on the way down.
028.
What is that supposed to be? I think that's a glitch in the map. Well, they're trying to intercept it. Yeah, right. This thing travels at 10,000 knots. I'm putting this at 0.1 speed right now. That'll probably be an insta-kill, right? Oh!
023.
Yes. I think they'll feel that in the morning. Surprisingly, they're not even considered dead. Jesus. So you can one-shot a Kirov with this. Fairly easily. Now, can we pretty please launch one of those missiles?
Roger that. Contact faded.
I want to see what they do.
027.
I'm not sure why there's a pre-launch delay.
We'll go.
Oh, hold on. Maybe, since it's an SLBM, we have to be
Make my dip.
submerged.
273.
And now we're diving. Okay, so now I'm actually a submarine.
Confirmed. Roger that.
Let's send a few, just to give him the good news. Oh, they're intercepting some of my tomahawks. How fast are these things, supposedly? 13,000 knots. Maximum velocity. Okay, it's an orbital-class submarine-launched ballistic missile developed as the ultimate weapon in the Balkan Federation Project Pendragon. It marks a significant leap forward from its predecessor, the V-2, by utilizing orbital flight, allowing it to strike any target on Earth bypassing conventional missile defense systems. Of course you are. I'm not sure they work, though,
Contact faded.
because my sub's presently not eagerly launching those. Maybe if I tell them to launch and then they'll figure out what altitude they want to be at. 63 feet. You want a surface for that?
Air. Contact detected. New air. Contact detected. New surface. Contact
Yeah, I think they don't really work that well.
70.
Doesn't really matter. This thing is dangerous enough as is.
Hostile warship.
When would you use this? I don't know. In a custom mission where you take on the entirety of a nation's firepower in one go? Something like that? Yeah, we one-shot that Cresta. Now, as a second part to this video, how do you get this and how do you install that? Let me go over to the browser and show you. Okay, so how do you download this thing? Well, it is unfortunately not on the Steam Workshop because supposedly the devs didn't give permission for that. But you can get it through Drive. This is the personal drive of the mod creator. I'll link to it down below in the description. You download that, and that gives you a file of about 125 megs. It might be bigger by the time that you're getting it. Download it anyway. And once you have it downloaded, we're going to go into the downloads folder. Here it is. I've isolated the file. You're going to right-click this, and if you have WinRAR or something similar, extract it to that particular folder. Once that is done, you'll be able to take all of that stuff and bring it over to where you need it to go. Yes, I guess I was not patient enough. No to all, break operation, close. Here. Finally, you have these files. You got original and SAC 900. That's the submarine type. You're going to go over to your Steam files. How do you do that? Go to Steam. It's generally the easiest way about it. Go to your library, right-click on this, and go to Manage, Browse Local Files. And over there, you can see C-Powered Data. Open that. Then go to Streaming Assets. Open that. And over here, I'm going to just paste everything that I had. So I'm going to have these two Control-C, Control-C first, of course. Then you're going to go to Streaming Assets, Control-V. In my case, it's going to say, hey, I already have that, so I'm going to say skip everything. Once you have that, you can go back into the game, and there you'll be able to enable the mod. Once you've launched back into the game, go to Mod Manager and go all the way down. There you will see the SAC 900 Aviation Cruiser. Make sure you also got the Ace Combat, although it says Ace Combat, as part of the workshop, as well as Anchor Chain and Sea Lifter, but those two require a bit of a different installation process themselves, which are fairly self-explanatory at this point. You don't need to do a whole lot of complicated things, just download some stuff and extract that. Link down to that explanation in the description down below. I hope you guys will have fun with the SAC 900. It is a monster of a ship, submarine, cruiser, whatever you want to call it. I am interested in seeing it in a scenario at some point. I prefer, however, to be on the friendly side of it, because going up against one of those monsters, rather not. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are below, and I'll see you soon for more.